We start our finance committee meeting for August 18th. We'll do a call for Mr.
This is Commissioner Hoffmeister,
Here.
Commissioner Houts,
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda. And support, all in favor with an aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Carries. Public comment. Have no public. So we have no comments. Moving on to 4. Path 3. Go to new business for FY 25-26 AAA provider. Miss Laura, how are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. We've put together the proposed provider allocations for you today and wanted to discuss some additional detail. The provider allocations, we didn't take any sort of different tactic than we have forever. Basically, we take into consideration what our full year grant award was for the current fiscal year, any guidance from the Bureau. We take into consideration movement or lack of movement at the state level, kind of the advocacy messages that we're hearing. And as you all know, both the federal and the state budget have not been passed for next year. So we're really solely basing this on what we have been issued this year. That's what that's the guidance that everybody's giving us. So these are, with that in mind, outlined for you. You'll notice that we don't have Thurston Cares on there though, because they ended their contractual relationship with us this fiscal year. So we had some extra dollars, remember, at amendment time this year that we sort of sprinkled, if you will, to other providers that could use those funds for those particular services. And we use the same approach for this year coming up, starting October 1. So the transit authorities, you'll notice, are proposed to get increases, as well as the Commission on Aging offices who provide in-home respite services. Pretty much everything else is status quo. We are going out on a limb, if you will, with the My Options grant. That contract technically has not been renewed technically with our lead agency that we're in sort of partnership with, but every indication is saying it's coming. We're renewed through the end of the fiscal year in 26. So we annualized, as they provided guidance to, annualized our current award with them for next year. The one caveat with the 2 Commission on Aging offices who provide Medicare counseling as a sub-awardee of ours is that it is only a 6-month, award. So while you see an annualized amount, we can only contract for what we know right now. Again, as we're all nodding in agreement.
Yeah.
You know, we can only say this is what the picture should look like for the year, but the funding period that we know right now today is only going to be 6 months. Everything else here that's indicated as the proposed 25-26 is a full year award. So we'll take a look at all of those things yet again at amendment time in the spring when we get our full year award, once all the decisions are made at the federal and state level, and go from there. But this is the best picture that we have for now.
Good, except for the meals in Grand County, you dropped that by about $2 grand.
That has to do with that one federal source, and that could increase again, Commissioner Houts, because the award is called Nutrition Service Incentive Program, NSIP or NSIP, as we kind of make it into a word that really isn't a word. That is a performance-based contract. So based on how the state performs in regard to the number of meals delivered and how everybody else in the country performs with their meal delivery, they do some sort of a wonky calculation at the federal level, and it could rise or decrease. We're hoping that it rises because we'd like to get back above 100,000 like we were a few years ago. But COVID really, excuse me.
And support. Or do you have anything else?
No.
Yeah, any discussion? Looks good. Looks good. We appreciate it very much. Yeah. All in favor with an aye? Aye. Opposed the same? Very good. Motion carries. Thank you for putting that together, and we look forward to hearing more once we get a little bit more clarity on that. So.
Great.
write stuff in stone when you
Oh,
don't even
my
know what the
goodness.
stone is.
Moving on, audit services, RFP.
Yeah, so, our contract with our current audit firm, Maynard Casterison, is ended, so we do not have a contract with them that goes beyond the year that they just finished. So we put this out for an RFP. I made contact or attempted to make contact with 6 different audit firms that do municipal audits in the state of Michigan. I actually was successful in making contact and getting a response back from 5 of them. Of those 5, they all indicated that they wanted to receive the RFP because I reached out to them before it was released and asked for who I should send the document to, and also told them that it would be available on our website. They all gave me a contact to send the RFP proposal to. So when we did release the proposal, I emailed it to all 5 companies. One company indicated that they would not be bidding on it because they just don't have staffing at this time. And then I received 2 proposals and I didn't get anything back from the other 2. So I only have 2 proposals. But I think that's telling of the times, right? Of those 2, for one of the main reasons I would recommend going with the Maynard Casterison, which is the same firm that we've had for, I couldn't even tell you how long we've had them. And they are more expensive. Their proposal did come in as more, but the other firm has no experience with public health departments, nor with area agency on aging. And with our accountant being new, I just don't feel like we have the staff and expertise to bring them along. And so I feel like there is risk there, because they don't know, and I don't feel like we're prepared to teach them. But it is up to you, obviously. It's not an insignificant amount of money. I mean, it is $5,000 more to stay with the firm that we have. The firm that we have does have a long standing. They've been doing our audits for a very long time. They know us. And by and large, you know, it's been a good relationship. We can call them anytime that we have a question on how to post something. They have a lot more staff. It's just a much larger firm. The firm that came in lower does all of your community, or well, not all of them. It does 43 community mental health agencies. So it does Pines, it does the St. Joe County, what's that? So it is doing those, and it apparently does very well at that. It just doesn't have any experience with district health departments or area agency on aging. But it's a much smaller firm. They only have, I think, 26 people, and only 7 of those are dedicated to government. Where the Maynard Casterison has a much larger pool of people. The other thing that I thought was interesting is in the Roseland Prestige proposal, they propose 101 hours of time to complete our audit, where Maynard Casterison is proposing 125 hours. So they are more, we get more time from them. You could argue that that is good or bad, but you know, Maynard Casterison has been doing our audit for a long time, so they should, I would think, would know how long it takes to do it, where the other company is going in blind. It could be the other company needs fewer hours because they're using more partners and fewer staff to complete their audits. So it may just go a little faster because they're using a higher caliber of person to do the grunt work. I don't know.
How long is the contract, Teresa?
It's a 3-year contract with an option for 2 additional years. And in past, we've always done 5.
We get to make that decision then, obviously. After
We
year
do.
3.
After year 3, we get to make that decision.
I'm good with it. I mean, sometimes it's good to bring a new firm in, set of eyes. These things differently. Just kind of stagnant, but I'm good to keep it. And take it for 23,000.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for the first year, and it, you know, they both go up every year.
That one that said 103 hours, if they did find out it takes them 120 hours, would they charge us that extra?
I don't think they could, given the fact that, you know, if the contract would, specify how much
Well, I'm
they
just-
charge.
Okay.
I also think, to your point, Teresa, we do have new staff in the accounting side on our end right now. Maybe the 3-year contract. Good there, and then again, say 5 years, we do another RFP. We feel a little bit more comfortable with our, you know, with more experience in-house, then maybe take a chance on a new firm, but it is hard. You have new staff internally, and then bringing on a new auditing firm is a little bit difficult. And if this is what the staff recommends, then I trust the staff.
Well, and even if I wouldn't be as hesitant to bring on a new audit firm if they had experience with district health or AAA, which they don't. So how are they going to navigate that without our help? And we're not deep enough right now to really provide that, in my opinion.
Make a motion, we send, Manor custodian to the full board.
I like that. Do we have a second?
I did it first.
I knew you were gonna.
But
You're gonna have
step on me to make it a little sound a little more.
We have- we have-
Kevin on board with it.
We have motion and support by one of the two of these two guys. Teresa, you get to decide. We'll find out in a minute. We'll hold our breath.
Yeah.
See who's your
And I
favorite.
will bring it up.
Yes. Any further discussion? All in favor of the aye? Opposed the same? Motion carried. Thank you for that work, Teresa, and getting that. I know that can be difficult, and you putting that together and trying to get as many options as possible. You always do a thing.
Well, you know, I am always looking to save money,
Yeah.
especially as we, you know, roll on to.
Do it fully.
Not showing up for interviews. We're gonna see state and employer sponsored healthcare renewal.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed. We've been working with trying to get information from the pool. I don't know if you're all familiar with the pool, but it's an insurance pool for municipal employers coming together to get better rates. It's a self-insured pool which uses the same kind of Blue Cross or Priority Health plans that we currently have. So we did finally get some information from them. The renewal for FY26 is not in yet. It won't be until the first part of September. But for the initial conversation, we had asked them to compare the rates for FY25 so we would know, you know, is this really an option or is it not an option? Excuse me. So they compared the rates for FY25, or the year we're currently in, and what they propose seems significantly better than what we currently have. Now, I am not an insurance agent, putting that out there, and some of this stuff I don't necessarily understand at the level, especially that Commissioner Leininger does.
That's exciting.
So,
People.
yeah, I did reach out to Commissioner Leininger and send him this information to ask him, you know, what questions does he have? And here is the reason. If we go with the pool, we really need to make this decision on what we're doing for healthcare at our September board meeting, which is sooner than we've ever done it before. We typically do our open enrollment in December, so we have through the November meeting to get something picked and taken care of. But with the pool, they have to have their open enrollment has to be completed before December 1st. So open enrollment needs to be in November and we don't meet in October. So unless we're going to do a special board meeting, we need to be able to pull the trigger in September. So they are telling me currently that they will have rates on or around September 1st. And I have communicated that also back to Lighthouse, which is our current agent, that we need to know as soon as we can because we're planning on making a decision in September this year. But from an agency standpoint, the plans that they're proposing are equivalent or mostly better than what we have now, and they're less money. So that doesn't necessarily change the equation for the agency because we're using the hard cap, right? So the employer is going to pay the hard cap amount. We know that the hard cap this year went up 2.9%. So agency expenses are going up 2.9%. Everything else is we pass it on to the employee.
Yeah.
So if we can save money for the employee, that's a significant perk. It's a benefit for them. It doesn't really change the equation as far as what it affects our budget, although it could, because if our plans get, out of sight and they cost too much and you can get it through your husband's or your wife's, you might switch and take cash in lieu. Or if our plans are significantly less money for the family, we might have people that jump on our plan that currently aren't on it, or they decide to cover their whole family. And that's the kind of swings that really hurt. If we have people that come on that aren't on, family coverage, it costs the agency little over 22,000, where cash and lose 2,200 or 2,500. So, it's a $20,000 switch if somebody comes on from cash and lieu to family coverage. It can have a big impact, but you have to do the best you can for the employees because it helps with recruitment.
Yeah, into the same that full water. That county tax.
We're dealing with a gentleman named Chris, and Chris did indicate that he thought that Branch County was going to be joining the pool this year, and that there's a possibility that Hillsdale County may be joining as well. A lot of the schools are on it. He said in the 10, I don't remember how long he said they've been around, but anyway, maybe it's 20 years. In the time they've been around, only 3 people have ever left once they joined, and 2 of those 3 came back. So people are generally happy with it.
This Lighthouse, when you reach out to them, do they think they're gonna be able to have rates for us by the September meeting?
He did say that.
Compare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're expecting the renewal rates at that same time.
Okay. So we're gonna bring this back, finance them in September?
Oh, yeah. This is just for your information,
Yeah.
because it's a change in how we normally do it, because we have to accelerate our time.
Yep. And hopefully we can save the employees on that, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it looks really good, but there might be things hidden in there that I just can't
Yeah.
comprehend.
We were always kind of very, we never would switch.
Well, it's just insurance is getting so expensive. You really have to start looking at things that you wouldn't necessarily have looked at before. But the good news is they did say that, we built out all online platforms, so employees don't do paper anymore to sign up for their health insurance. They do it online, and they can transfer that and migrate it right so that we don't have any change to our staff as far as how they opt for their benefits or anything. So that's good.
After next Thursday's meeting, we should be. So.
Are they coming to you guys? No. Oh, our meeting, yeah. Take your time, I'll break.
No.
A little slow on the uptake.
Go be watching this tape.
All right, very good. Well, we look forward to hearing more about that. So that's good. Moving on to D, FY 25-26 budget.
Yeah, so we're still working on the budget, and as I'm sure you all know, the budget in Michigan has not been passed. Budget at the federal level, nobody knows who's doing what, which makes it more challenging. We're still working on our budget. One of the things that is the biggest dollar factor that I'm aware of right now that's still hanging out there is the MERS. Can we draw down part from that surplus fund? That decision that we talked about before. I was in communication with Marnie earlier. No, not earlier this week. This is Monday. Last week, I was in communication with Marnie for a new actuarial study on that, as Commissioner Leiner had requested. And they have put that in. He said I would have it hopefully by the end of this month. I don't have it today. But if it comes in, then I'll add it to the board packet because it's in unfinished business on the full board, and we'll move forward. But if we cannot do that, we are going to have to make some pretty difficult choices if we are going to make our budget balance and still manage to increase salaries and wages at a 3% cost of living increase, which would position us to be where we need to be for the minimum wage going up in January of 27. We won't have to do the whole chunk at a time. So we are going to have to make some difficult choices if we can't draw that MERS down. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not going to make some difficult choices anyway. We always try to do the best that we can here, but it is coming, you know, we're coming down to a crunch where we're gonna have to decide what we need to do.
I'm not sure which having things you want, and so, and if we have to delay making decision on raises to November and December. So we gotta operate to the budget, no, this.
Well, we typically don't do raises until, the 1st of January. Our cost of living raises are generally done in December at the board meeting there. But you don't want to go into a year without having a good idea of how you're going to pay for everything. But it is a very good.
But that's why we presented a month or so ago on the use of that funding that's in MERS. We've been really stocking, putting money in, and it, based on all the information that we already received from MERS, we're in a good position to start using that and so planning some of that increasing rising cost, that monthly or yearly service fee that we're gonna see in MERS until we get to 100%.
And we were waiting for MERS to come back. They gave us some projections, but we didn't know if those projections included the large lump sum that or not large lump sum, but the lump sum that we were going to come out of the surplus into the regular plan, right?
That was one of the questions that was brought up at the board meeting. We did get the answer to that question. Their proposal was a large lump sum payment at the beginning of that, but whether or not you make that transfer really does not change the outcome at all, because both the surplus fund and the regular pension fund are invested exactly the same way. So whether that money's sitting over here or over here, it's earning the same amount of return. So it really doesn't change the math as far as how soon it takes it to draw down. So my recommendation has always, I didn't recognize that it was a lump sum payment at the beginning there, but I would never have made that decision to do that because there's no reason to do that. It's making the same amount of money over here as it would over there. If I leave it over here, that gives me greater flexibility. So why would I opt to take away my flexibility? It doesn't make sense. But we did ask them for a new actuarial study because the one we were working off of was 8 months old.
Okay, so that'd be good. And so we're planning on having that, so
He said I should have it by the end of the month. Now, what the board meeting's very late this month, so we may have it by the board meeting, but it may not be back. I do not know.
all right. Well, we'll look forward to that too. Any questions on that? All right, very good. Well, we appreciate that. Moving on to 5, public comments.
I did read this weekend, I think, Bridge Magazine or at least, Amish buggy, crashes, that they mentioned our thing that Josh was doing was gonna be due next month. That right?
When you say due next month, Gina,
Just the recommendation coming next month, or he was hoping for like a 15% reduction on that.
well, I mean, they do have deliverables that are due at the end of the grant year. So I'm sure that they will be putting together their final, statistics that they have been able to gather. I don't know if we really have the traffic crash data. We would get that from the law enforcement, but
I think
Yeah.
the thing about it, there were 2 crashes weekend, so the right
Oh.
story that
within our jurisdiction, Joe,
maybe or I don't know. It was 2 of them.
I know there's fatality up in Gaylord just like a week or so ago. The buggy car and 3 people in the buggy, 1 died. So, yeah. Chris has been asked to go to Ohio to a regional meeting where they're going to meet with other people in other states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, maybe Illinois is in that as well. They're gonna get together and talk about these, initiatives that are going on and share best practices. So, Chris has been asked to attend that, and I think that's still this month, isn't it, Trace? Do you remember?
I believe it was in September.
I think
It's in
Oh, it's-
September.
yeah, so anyway, it's coming up real quick. But she should be at the board meeting and should be able to better answer your question about the deliverables that we have to get to OHSP by the end of the grant year.
Yeah, but I would not expect any results until October because the grant goes through the end of September.
I think that's what
So.
you said. They're all pretty well.
I am seeing the advertising and I'm seeing it all around, so that's neat. Obviously, hopefully people are paying attention and, it can be
It's-
effective.
Yeah, it's,
It's lucky. It'd be hard to fix.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think like 80% of our drunk drivers.
Try
Yeah.
to plug it around?
No, drive it into the fund, get the fund.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, good night.
No.
So I have a story that's wrong.
Okay, yes, that is 100%.
I mean,
Yeah, that's an issue beyond.
Yeah, you come up on them and your reflexes are already injured and
Yeah.
they found some pretty interesting stuff. There's some black reflective tape. And so the Amish are more likely to use a black tape that only is reflective at night, right? They don't want yellow stickers on their buggies, but a black sticker that is flashy at night, when lights hit, they're more likely to accept that. So I know that's some of the stuff that the grant has purchased that we're making available to bishops. They can disseminate it. It is both sides, right?
Yeah.
It's them making their buggies more visible, and it's us being more cognizant of driving in a rural area where those type vehicles.
And just the communication with that being an example, that seems like that's a very common sense, easy fix. And it's just communicating, back and forth. I think that's really good. Awesome. Okay, any other commissioner comments? Stefan, got anything? Nothing? From my standpoint, I guess I've never said it before, but, I'm in a lot of meetings, I'm sure we all are, and the, organization that you guys do with your packets are second to none. You guys have the agenda with the page number, it's boom, boom, boom. It makes it really easy on commissioners, which we need all of the help we can get. I don't know if you know that.
Thank you.
I do appreciate it. I know it takes work. I know it takes effort, and I definitely want to acknowledge that it is very much appreciated. So we appreciate it. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. All right. With that being said, we are adjourned until our next meeting. Full board is the 28th.